All right, this is an emergency broadcast for the third rail. And what that means is that I saw something today that was so shocking that I didn't have a lot of time to do any research or to read up too much about it, but I wanted to get it out to you today so that you would be aware of it. And if you saw the thumbnail, of course, you have some idea of what's going on. So we're going to look right now at Trinity College's Wikipedia page, just to give you an idea of the school. If you're not familiar with Trinity College, and I'm not really, I've heard of it, it is a constituent college of the University of Cambridge. Of course, I think most of us have heard of Cambridge. Founded by King Henry VIII in 1546, has a long, distinguished history. The name Trinity, I am going to guess. I'm going to stick my neck out and say probably that has something to do with the Godhead. Call me crazy, I don't know, but I'm going to guess that's what it means. It has a chapel. They obviously have some type of religious schooling there. Now, you and I both know, if you watch this channel at all and have any interest in what I have to say, then generally we're of the same mindset. We understand that this school is not a bastion of the faith, and it's not a place where you're going to learn the infallible Word of God, the King James Bible, and learn the doctrines of God in their biblical perspective. You're going to get some far out liberal stuff. I remember years ago, and by the way, you don't have to go to England to go to a school to get that kind of education. You can go right here in the good old US of A and find many, many schools that will teach you some wacky stuff. So, what are we talking about here? What's the reason for this emergency broadcast? Let me just show you here and flip over to the page. And let's get this up here. All right, sorry. Trans wokeism. Cambridge Dean stands by students' legitimate view that Jesus had a trans body. Now, you remember back years ago when you thought Baptist churches would never have women preachers? You remember that? And now what do we have? You have some Baptist churches that have women preachers. You know, you remember years ago when you used to think that Baptist churches would never support the gay agenda. And you have Baptist churches today, of course, not good Baptist churches, but they're Baptist in name, that support the gay agenda. You think that, well, that's just the Protestant denominations that do that, and they do. But now we're seeing it even in churches with Baptist on the name. I was thinking years ago when I was in the service, we fought the homosexual agenda in California back in the 70s, and we lost. I fought against the sexual perversion material that was being dispersed in the Washoe County library system, particularly the Sparks branch of the Washoe County library system. That's Sparks is right next to Reno, Nevada. And that took a 2-year battle, and we made some changes. I shudder to think what the children have in their section of the library today that's available to them, and parents don't care. In fact, parents encourage it. We see the gradual apostasy of everything around us. If we understand the scriptures, we know that according to the book of Revelation, if we understand it correctly, that we are in the age of Laodicea, which means that the age of the people's rights. Are we in the age of the people's rights? Of course we are. And we know that every age in the Bible ends in apostasy. And that's what we're seeing right now. And it's happening right in front of our very eyes. So now we see this article that came out today, and I saw it today, that a student preached, I guess you'd call it that, preached a message in the chapel, excuse me, and he claims that the side wound of Jesus to him was compared to a vagina. And from that, deduced that Christ had a trans body. And you'd think the article, the author of the article said, one would think a lightning bolt would have zapped him right where he stood. Well, of course not. We don't see that anymore. No, God's not going to strike you down. He's going to allow it to go on. All right. So here you think, well, surely this young man was rebuked. No. How silly. Dr. Michael Banner, the dean of Trinity College, said such a view was legitimate. After a row over a sermon by a Cambridge research student that claimed Christ had a trans body. The Telegraph, which is an English paper, has another article on it. It makes you subscribe to read it. I did not do so. If you wish to do so, I will put, you may do so, of course, and I will put the link to this particular article in the description, and so you can look it up and read it for yourself. The good news, of course, anytime heresy is promoted, it's always an opportunity for God's people to speak out, and so we should. And we don't do it enough. And of course, even when we do, even having done so, perversion, apostasy, liberalism, anti-God behavior, anti-morality, biblical morality will still increase. It's not going to go away. All we can do is present the gospel and hope individuals get saved. But the nation and nations are all doomed. And so we see that here. Anyway, so let's go back to the article. So it's always good to speak out. So here we had some folks that were in tears and shouts of heresy. All right. And of course, this doctor fella, he's going to defend it, said it's legitimate. It's legitimate. It's a good point. We're not going to reject any interpretation of the scriptures. That's how he sees it. It's okay with us. I'm sure that's his thinking. And so let me show you the picture, the artwork that was brought this to mind. And this is Jean Malul. I think it's called Pieta. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But this is the artwork. The wound in the side of Christ, this student sees as a vagina or a vagina symbol. Therefore, Christ had a trans body. And yes, I know you want to go and throw up, but it's just not going to make any difference. These people are going to continue on and on and on with their heresy. And you can read through this. I'm not going to read all this. However, now down here, there were some folks, whoever this person is on Twitter, this is going too far. Now, we would have thought 30 years ago, women preachers in Baptist churches, too far, never going to happen. It's happening, So, stuff continues. It will continue to go on. I think it may actually be blasphemy. You think? I think so. So there's some folks, and what happens? What happens? They speak out and they get outraged and wow, I mean, it's just over the picture like that. So they get outraged, and then what do? They go on about their business, and they get used to it. We're all used to it. We see things on TV now that would have shocked us, and now we think nothing of it. This is how the world works. This is how the devil works. I'm not going to blame it on the devil. It's the world, the flesh, and the devil, in that order. The world and the flesh gets us all the time. It's a constant battle, and we see these kind of things happening. So I wanted to bring this to your attention. Like I said, the link to that article will be down in the description, and you can look it up and read it for yourself. But I wanted you to be aware of it, to have knowledge about it, and to see, the horrific things that are taught in an institution whose name represents the Godhead. This is how low they've gone. And so it will just continue to wax worse and worse and worse until Jesus comes. Thanks a lot, folks. Thanks for watching The Third Rail. Please like and subscribe. Oh, by the way, I've got, if everything works right, I told my guest, that He says, "Are we on for tomorrow?" I said, "Unless I'm dead or the rapture's happened, we're on." I said, "If it's the rapture, brother, we'll chat on the way up. But got an interview tomorrow. If it works out right, that's going to be dynamite. And I think it's going to be something that will interest some folks. Other people will run in fear. I'm talking about Christians will run in fear of it. And I think it should be a good talk, a good discussion on an interesting subject. And I'll probably put out a short tomorrow night after after the interview is over, or later in the afternoon. And so you'll be aware of that, be looking forward to it. Share with your friends, and have them like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so they can know when this kind of thing happens and they can be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.